So if I gave you my banana hammock and said, "Hey, do you mind?
As long as it was washed.
You mind tailoring this to me?"
Well, that would be kind of sad if you needed it tailored. I'm just saying.
That's true. Alrighty. On today's episode of Careers Over Beers, I'm interviewing Ellen, and you're a seamstress, correct?
I am.
You're a seamstress that likes brandy? Is that what this is?
Yes, brandy.
How do you pronounce this right here?
Cavassier.
Cavassier.
Yeah.
That's Australian?
No, I think it's French. I believe it's French.
Cavassier. Okay.
Cavassier.
And the way you like to do this is ice, Cavassier, and Sprite Zero.
Yes.
How do you guys say Sprite Zero in the UK?
Kushabaka. Sprite Zero.
Always wondered that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so tell me when it's perfect. You're the one. This is your drink here.
Oh, that's good.
That's good?
Yeah, that's,
You're going to let me overfill the whole glass. So this is your favorite liquor right here?
It is.
And that's cognac, right?
Yes. Brandy.
Brandy.
From France.
From France.
I believe.
So where exactly are you from?
I'm from England, from Northampton.
From England. Northampton?
Yes.
Yeah.
North of London.
North of London. Is cognac big over there? Or did you start drinking that when you came to America?
No, I always drank it over there.
You always drank it over there?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Cheers, Ellen.
Okay, cheers.
Let's try this out.
Okay.
Delicious, honestly.
It is. Very
Really
good.
is. It doesn't have a bite or anything to it. It's not
Nice
like
and
whiskey.
smooth.
Yeah. And the Sprite goes nice with it. Do you always drink Sprite Zero with it?
I do. I have to watch the figure.
Have to watch the figure. Cheers to that. Okay, so you're a seamstress. Can you give me some history on how that all happened and how you became to be a seamstress?
Well, I had some friends that worked in a factory and they used to finish early on a Friday, so I liked that, having a long weekend. And so that's where I started.
You liked having a long weekend and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I finished early on a Friday, so
Yeah.
yeah, pay was okay at that time.
And that was back in England.
Yeah, in England.
In England. And so what was your first job doing it?
I made like night dresses, underwear.
Did you have any prior experience or were you just like jumping
no,
into it? Like, I want that long weekend and
yeah, it was good. The money was good. Played music all day, so
yeah.
yeah. So made various things, changed some jobs, and that's all I've ever really done.
That's all you've ever done for
really,
a job?
Yeah.
Really?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I've done odd things where I couldn't find the work, but yeah. So
your friends did that. You liked the hours, basically, is what
yeah,
drew you in.
Yeah, and you did piecework, so if you worked hard, you earned extra money on top of your pay. So
Yeah.
we were very competitive, so it was good.
You would compete with each other on who could sew the most?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. Sewing races?
Well, you did, because if you did pass your quota, you got extra money.
Yeah,
so.
no, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it was.
So this was just for a company then that you were doing all this for?
Yeah, for a big company.
A big company.
Yeah, and then I changed. I moved to different places, did everything from men's suits to shoes. Shoes, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so.
What's the hardest thing to sew out of all your experience?
Gosh.
Flesh?
I haven't tried that. I can't even put a Band-Aid on, so I have absolutely no medical. Probably leather.
Well, surgeons, they learn to sew when they're going through med school. Skin. Do you think that any of your skills would apply in a setting like that?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Well,
You've never
if
thought
I
about
could
it?
be blind, if I didn't know what I was sewing, it might help. But no. Yeah.
So if I cut my arm right now, you wouldn't be able to jump
I'd
over here and
scream.
you'd scream?
I'd scream, and and
You
call
wouldn't bust
someone
out a
else.
needle and sewing
Oh
kit?
no, hell no! I'd be out the door. Yeah, I'm no good in a medical emergency of any type.
You've done shoes though, and that's leather. Which
It is. Leather's probably the hardest because you can't make a mistake.
Really?
Yeah, because once you pierce the leather, it's
Oh.
it's
There's a hole there.
There's
You
a
can't-
hole there. So
Yeah. Whereas with clothing or whatever,
yeah, you can rip out and pull it in a little bit, but you can't because the leather's all marked.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you first started that job at that, was it a factory or a company?
It's
or?
a factory.
It's a factory?
Yeah.
You didn't know anything about sewing?
No, what they did was for 12 weeks, you went in this little room with the other people that just started, and you had to sign round without a needle. You had to learn the machine, then you put the needle in. We weren't allowed to thread it, and they would give you like a kid's drawing, of a bunny rabbit, and you had to go and make the holes precisely.
Oh, really?
So after 3 months, then when you had some skills, then they put you out on the factory floor.
So it was on the job training right when you got into it?
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't get that.
You never sewn
today.
anything in your life before that?
Well, yeah, I mean, a button or...
A button.
I did a little bit in school, but I wasn't
Yeah.
very good. I wasn't that interested, so... And that's what I've done.
And it
for all
became a career
these
for you.
years. Yeah,
It's crazy how that stuff happens
seriously.
sometimes,
Yeah, it is.
So then you went to a shoe factory? Is that what happened? after
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I went to a shoe factory and just done various jobs. And we moved around,
Mm-hmm.
and then on the base, I was a base seamstress for 5 years.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
So you would tailor things for people, like
Yeah,
if they needed a
Did all the
uniform done?
blues.
Military base, military blues. Yeah.
Honor guard. Used to do all the honor guards. Yeah, did everything. So, and alterations for people's personal clothing.
Right.
Too, so.
Well, you're a savior for people like me who needed to go in and get their coat extended every year a little bit wider.
You can
right?
only extend it so far.
Yeah, you can.
You can only make skinny jeans so skinny,
That's true.
So, yeah.
A lot of people jump in the bathtub with them and make them shrink.
I thought they were pre-shrunk now. Wasn't
probably
that like
are.
the Levi's in the day?
I don't know.
Saying-
I was never a big skinny jeans guy.
But yeah, so
Yeah, you can only extend that stuff so far before you're like, all right, you need a new coat.
yeah, you do.
Yeah. Did you have a lot of people like that when you worked on the base that would come in and be like, I'm getting a little heavy. Can you
Yeah.
alter
yeah.
my...
But there's only so much
Right.
you can take more in.
If you
than
lose
can-
weight.
Yeah, if you lose weight, you can take more in, but
Yeah.
you can only let out like an inch. So, or it's new blues.
Is it possible to undo an alteration if you do it, or are you cutting fabric off when you do
It
that?
depends on what you're doing. Some things you have to cut the fabric because
Yeah.
it wouldn't sit right. Other things, you can kind of just press it out. So
Yeah. So did you ever work on like jeans factories or anything like that?
I did actually.
You did?
I did work
Denim?
on jeans. Yeah, yeah. Place called Sloopy Jeans.
Sloopy jeans.
Yeah, way back.
Was that back in the UK?
Yeah, back in the UK.
I do a pretty good accent, don't I? Back in the UK.
I don't know where from, but I guess
I don't either.
it's not really a British accent.
Do you have a British accent, or is yours Scottish?
Well, I
Or is it
think
Australian?
my parents were Scottish, so I was brought up in a town that was predominantly Scottish.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we
So
all...
it's a mixture
Yeah, yeah.
of like English and Scottish and some
Yeah.
America.
I don't know. I don't listen to myself very often.
Do you
so
think that we talk weird over here?
I've lived here for over 30 years, not anymore.
No.
But you do have accents. Let's not get away from that. People are like, we don't have an accent. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So
How did it feel when you gained your newfound freedom when you came over to America?
it was amazing.
It
I
was
was like,
crazy.
oh my God.
Different world, huh?
Yeah, I'm not chained up anymore. Wow, look at this. I can actually walk outside.
I know, right?
Yeah.
See, that was all normal to me. Weird.
Yeah, I mean, I have got accustomed to it now. But I have been asked some strange questions.
I know you have. I know you have. Yeah, your husband might have fed me a little bit before this on some ways to poke the bear.
My newfound freedom, that was a good
Yeah.
one.
Do you guys even celebrate the 4th of July over there?
Oh, yeah. Losers
Is
party.
it your favorite holiday?
Well, a losers party, we have to celebrate.
It's not loser, it's second place.
There was only two people
There's-
in it. There's a winner, there's a loser.
I'm trying to look on the sunny side, you know? I don't want to brag.
Well, when we used to have people over on the 4th of July, I used to hear about how you threw our tea and et cetera, et cetera.
We threw
So-
your tea out, yeah.
Yeah, so then one year we had a losers party and no one mentioned it. So it solved it. So yeah. So,
Alrighty.
and we do speak English.
Really?
Yeah, well, I've
Just
been
not-
asked that question, what language we speak in England.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but it's not like regular English
oh no, it's not.
like us.
Oh no, not Oxford.
Like I don't have an accent, you know?
No,
I speak regular English.
Yeah,
Like not accented, you know?
I know. Kansas, no accent. It's amazing.
It's crazy.
No one in the States thinks they have an accent.
No,
No,
they don't.
no. My sister-in-law, I mean, she doesn't think she has an accent, but she has salad.
Salad?
Salad.
Big salad.
Salad. No accent.
What's one of the funniest terms that we use over here that still gets you after 30 years?
Oh my God.
One that you guys say is biscuit.
Well, that's what they are.
No, a biscuit is like a Popeye's biscuit. It's like a big flaky, buttery, you know, you put gravy on it. That's a biscuit. You're thinking of a biscuit as like a cookie.
It is. They're called biscuits.
They're not biscuits, they're cookies.
Well, I kind of beg to differ. You have to think who was there first, so.
Speaking of terminology, the word seamstress, is that like a female term? Like is a man like a seamster?
And there are a lot of things. I do think it is a woman.
I always wondered that because
Yeah.
seamstress, it's like, is that, I don't know.
Yeah,
know?
normally it's a tailor if it's a man.
A tailor, yeah.
Yeah.
Or a sewer. That's
Yeah.
what I would call man.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess it is
Yeah,
a woman's.
I thought so. Seamster sounds kind of cool though, right? For a man.
Whatever.
All right, so back to seamstressism.
Okay. Seamstressism.
How many places did you work before you came to America?
Oh my God, too many to count.
Too many to count.
Yeah.
And then were things totally different when you got over here?
In what way?
In the sewing world?
No, they're the same. We use the same machine. We do the same things. We make our clothes the same way.
I figured so, but I thought I'd
Yeah.
ask.
No, I mean a few, terminology, certain things that you use
Right.
are a little different, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So your daily life now, what are you doing? Are you sitting there just sewing all day?
No, I do more than sew.
Yeah.
Like I make patterns. I have input on people's drapes. They ask me, hey, what do you think would look good?
Right.
What would go? What should we put here, etc. So I do design too.
Okay. So you're doing all sorts of stuff then.
Yeah.
Anything fabric wise, anything design wise, like fashion wise?
No, I do mainly. It's for anything you put in your house, whether it be your bedding, your pillows, your drapes. I made tablecloths.
Yeah.
Christmas stockings because I make a tree skirt that goes with the rest of their decor.
Decor.
So, yeah.
So is a lot of that like stuff you're just taking on your own, that you're working with clients on your own, or are you still working for a company that's giving you?
I work for a company, but
Yeah.
I also do some stuff for another company. So
At your normal job, you're just getting all these different projects that you're working on. It could be
Yeah.
anything from a pillow to some drapes.
yeah,
to-
yesterday I fixed a bed skirt. I made some drapes. Yeah, I've made. I do everything.
You do everything in
Yeah.
sewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything that you kind of put in your house is what I do.
What's the hardest thing you think in your job, sewing wise? I think you said leather earlier, but is there
Yeah.
something like project wise that just
The hardest thing for me is when we have like people that have got huge cathedral windows
yeah.
and the measurement, their finished drape is about 220 inches, and it has to be so precise, and with fabric you have to measure
Yeah.
to make sure that everything is exactly 220 inches.
Right.
You know, you don't have a table that's 220 inches long. So that's a little more, there's a little more of a challenge to be so precise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff, like if you're doing a window that big, it's got to be super expensive, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And some people pay hundreds of dollars for a yard of fabric.
A yard?
A yard, yes. Yeah.
So people are dropping some serious money if they're redoing all the
Yeah.
curtains and everything in their house.
Yeah. Yeah. It's if you have like a normal size, like 84 inches, Windows 96, you know, that's fine. But when you get into the higher and odd numbers, then
Yeah.
yeah,
Like when you're doing complete custom stuff. That's,
yeah, it is expensive. The material's expensive.
Yeah.
You know, even when you go to the bottom of the line, it's, you know, I would say average is about $30 a yard. That's just for the outside. Then you need lining, you need all the things that go with it too. So, but you know, some people, they want something different and they're willing to spend thousands of dollars just on the fabric without even the work put in.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
So you see some rich people come in sometimes that are like, I don't care what it costs. Just give me
There is
exactly what I want.
There's some people that don't have a budget. I mean, not many,
Yeah.
but there is some people.
That must be nice, right?
Ah, for them.
For them. It makes your job kind of hard, though, if you're doing a complete custom job, right, with some weird fabric.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the heavier stuff, or they want upholstery fabric on their windows, especially if they're doing.
Upholstery fabric on their windows.
Yeah, I mean it's heavyweight, but especially if they have like a studio, or they've turned their basement into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Like a movie theater.
Yeah, then they want something that's heavy and goes with that. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, so,
Yeah. Like those theater curtains, those things are real
Yeah.
heavy, too, aren't
yeah,
they?
they really are. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you need to build some muscle.
Do you?
Dragging it around, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you get a job like that where somebody's like, I don't care what the cost is, I want this big-ass movie theater curtain across my basement.
Yeah, well,
That-
my company is the one that does all that, and then they
do all the consulting and
they
everything?
do all the consulting,
Okay.
etc. And then they pick out their fabric, and then I get the measurements and what they want.
Yeah.
And then
Will the company basically do any fabric they request if they pay for it?
basically, yeah.
Have you done any weird fabrics, like exotic ones or anything? Like a cheetah skin?
Oh yeah. Well, no, not the skin.
The the
But
fur?
but we have. I've done drapes they've had fur trim on them and fur in the bottom, and yeah.
That's gotta
fur
be
pillows.
expensive, right?
Yeah, I mean it's not real. It's synthetic, but
Yeah.
you know, the stuff's not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people have got really strange tastes. But you don't question. They're
What's
your
one of the
customer.
weirdest ones you've ever seen? What's one of your weirdest experiences with a customer?
Someone that had garden ornaments and wanted them dressed per season.
Garden ornaments.
Yeah, ornaments. Yeah,
statues?
like gnomes.
Gnomes?
Yeah.
And they wanted you to make clothes that
Yeah.
fit those for the
fur
seasons.
hats, yeah. in the
What?
winter, yes. Yes.
So they would go out there and change them out when it was summer
yeah,
and
yeah.
give them like some summer gear, and then they'd bundle them up in the wintertime.
Yep.
You're
Yep,
kidding me.
I'm not, I swear.
Wow,
Seriously.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I had to make fur hats for their statues. Yeah, and scarves.
Did they, during the weather outside, did it ruin the fabric, or did you have stuff that was made
Never
for that?
asked.
Here you go.
Well, it's gonna, you know, I mean, it's only gonna last for so long.
Yeah.
But we do have people that have had stuff for maybe 6 years and 6, 7 years, and they have kids and they beat the stuff up and it gets holes in it and they want us to fix it, and it's like, you need new ones. Oh, but I love these.
Yeah.
And they want you to patch it or use some of the fabric in something else. So, yeah, there's strange people.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It
It
makes
sure
the
is.
job interesting.
It does, yeah.
So, you
Getting
know,
different projects like that rather than just doing the same stuff every day, right?
Yeah, and some stuff I do, I'm like, who would want this in their home? But there's people that want it. Not to question why.
You know, it was called fax class when I was back in middle school, and they taught us to sew during that class.
Oh,
So
really?
but I learned how to sew a button and whatnot, and then we had a project we had to make a pillow. And I was just a jackass kid, lazy, didn't want to bring any fabric in or do anything, so I ended up just cutting a square off of everybody else's project, and I made this pillow, and it has all these different fabrics on it. But I look at it now, and I'm like, that's pretty cool, because I get to see everybody's fabric they chose for their own projects. And, you know, that class was pretty cool, because if I break a button on my pants or whatever now, I still know how to sew a button back on.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should.
Yeah.
You would think. But
do you think that should be taught more often? Because I don't know.
I think they're just sort of life skills, aren't they?
They are.
I think life skills should be taught.
A little bit more than they are. Because those are just electives usually in class, in school, if you choose to do it.
Yeah, and I think if you're interested, there should be something there that you
Right. And did you have any of that stuff when you were in school?
Yeah. I had cooking and sewing. I wasn't very good at the sewing. I was better at the cooking, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe you should have gone into that.
What, the cooking?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
No, that's
I
a
love
rough
to
one.
cook.
You wouldn't have had your weekends if you were doing that.
No.
And that's the whole reason you went to the seamstress world, right?
Well, originally.
Originally.
It didn't always work out that way. I mean, whenever I worked from home at the base, you know, I was a base seamstress for 5 years, but then I worked from home. And, you know, you get people that call you up at 5 in the morning, 11 o'clock at night, and I need my blues in the morning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really? So
Or I need my new stripes sewn on before my promotion tomorrow or whatever. Yeah.
An hour. Can you do it? So, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm in the Air Force too, and
I know.
there was a time where I had a promotion the next day, and I didn't have my correct stripes on my blues, so I just used super glue. It's like nothing else I can do.
Seamstress's worst nightmare.
Is it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it is, because when you do want them sewn on, you can't sew through the super glue. It breaks all your needles.
Really?
But I have had people that have come over and said, can you sew them on? And they have actually stapled them on.
You got to do what you got to do sometimes, I guess, right?
And then we had one kid that his dad was in the army, and his mum has sewn on his stripes. He was in the Air Force, and they were up here like an inch.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I got into trouble. Yeah, well, anyway, bless.
Yeah, bless.
Yeah, yeah, we like to bless everyone.
You do?
Yeah.
How do you guys do that? How do you keep it so precise? Like if you're sewing stripes on or a patch on or something, how do you get it so perfect? Because the fabric moves. Like even in the past when I've put on ribbons or something on my uniform, the fabric is always moving and it doesn't even sit correctly when it's on you. So how do you guys do that? Just a lot of years of practice?
It's a lot of years of practice, but there's like whenever you sew it on a blouse, because it's got a lining, you have to pin the fabric, like put 4 pins.
To stretch it out? Like to keep it flat?
To keep the lining and the jacket.
Uh-huh.
And then you turn it inside out and so on.
You turn it inside out?
Yeah, you put it through your machine. Like you pull out the sleeve, and so you've got the full space to do it. The same as you do, whenever you do them on the BDUs.
So is that just easy to do now for you?
Yeah.
Nothing?
Yeah. Yeah, when after 9/11, I don't know, they were sending all the firemen over there, and they all brought their uniforms. There was about 10 of them, and they had 5 the desert, and they wanted all that stuff sewn in like as soon as possible. They were leaving like the next evening, and so
that was a long night for you, huh?
It was.
Yeah.
It was a long night, and I didn't get them all done. I just did one of each, then one of each. So I had pretty much them all done.
Thank God for sewing machines, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how much hand sewing does a seamstress even do anymore besides like tiny things? Hardly anything, right?
I try and avoid it as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have industrial machines, which makes...
Real big ones?
Well, it's not... They're fast.
They're faster?
Yeah, and they're not like a little home sewn machine.
Yeah.
So...
Are those things hard to thread? Do you thread all those yourself?
I try, but sometimes I need someone else's eye because my eyes aren't that good. So luckily I have a husband that,
Your husband's good at threading the needle?
well, yeah. So I'll call him. No, he's really good with the machines because throughout the times things have broken on them, and
Yeah.
he's fixed them, put them together. We've moved them, so he's had to put them all back together.
Do you have a bunch of machines at home too?
Yeah, yeah.
So you
I
do a
have
lot
a
of
sewing
home
room at home.
side
yeah.
projects and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from my work, if it's stuff I can bring home, I do it at home,
Mm-hmm.
which is easier for me. I don't like the bad weather. I'm not like great with the driving in the bad weather, even though we lived in North Dakota for a long time. I hate the snow, so
Yeah.
if I can work at home. So I've got a sewing room set up at home.
Okay. That's nice at least.
Yeah. So
Are there any opportunities for people out there that want to be a seamstress to work from home, or is it usually you got to go and into the job and into the?
I honestly, this is not very industrious. Like, I come from Northampton, and that's like, Doc Martens, all those shoes are all made in that area, and they're called the cobblers because it was a big shoe industry,
Yeah.
but big industrial industry where they made clothing and all different kinds of things. They really don't have anything here in this state, so I don't even know how you would do it.
Yeah.
So
Like big brands like that. Do you see a big difference in clothing and just fabric in general, I guess? If you're looking at something that's like real expensive, like very recognizable name versus something that's cheaper, can you as a seamstress tell like, oh, that's much better quality?
oh yeah.
Are most of those much better quality that you're paying for?
Sometimes you're paying for the name, and you're
Yeah.
paying because it's unique, because that you can only actually get it from that named brand.
Right.
But other stuff is just, like a linen you can get from any company. But the more you pay, to a certain extent, yes, you do notice the quality.
You do notice the quality.
You do notice the quality.
Yeah.
Just the way it hangs and how
Much time they put into it, maybe.
yeah, and
With-
how it's woven and yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned like the hard part with custom stuff or more expensive stuff is that have to be so exact with the measurements and everything.
Yeah.
And I imagine something that's cheaper in quality is going to just be rushed almost through a factory.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're buying it, but the fabric, I mean, you can, it's a huge scale, but it's when you get in and people want an actual designer fabric, the same as clothes. You're not always paying for the fabric, but most brands, if you buy really good clothing or a big name, you're normally getting a better quality.
You're getting a better quality from
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But, like getting some designer jeans compared to just getting them from Walmart or, you're going to get better quality, or you should.
Have you ever had to work on something that was super expensive and you were like, oh no,
Yeah.
hope I don't mess this up
Oh, yeah.
all the time?
Well, I have to cut everything.
Yeah.
So,
That's got to be kind of sketchy.
yeah, some stuff is. Like, if it's $300 fabric and you're cutting it,
Yeah.
you make a boo-boo, like if you were to cut it too short.
Mm-hmm.
If you cut it too long, that's wasting the fabric, but at least you can recover from that. But if you cut something, it's,
And it's
short.
too short? Uh-oh.
then you can fix some
Well, you could sew it back on, right?
Well, you can't in the middle of it,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make, if it was a couple of inches, you could do a false hem. If it was a drape, like you could sew it back on as long as you've got enough. But yeah, it's intimidating, but you get used to it,
Yeah.
But
It's like anything, I guess. You just kind of become a pro at it and you're like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, so, yeah, you can fix some things you can't fix. I mean,
Right.
it's just, yeah, I've made boo-boos, everybody does. And you learn from your mistakes because you're like, But the old saying is measure
Measure
10
twice,
times.
cut once.
Well, yeah,
Measure
yeah.
20 times, cut
Yeah,
once.
yeah. And believe me, it's well worth it.
Oh,
so,
yeah, for sure.
But
So you guys just have big spools of this fabric where you're at, or how does
rolls.
that rolls?
Yeah. Like
This-
some of them you actually buy a roll of. And depending on how thick the fabric is, it could be anything from 30 to 50 yards.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When you're doing like a movie theater curtain, something that's real heavy, or like you said, upholstery fabric earlier.
Yeah.
How do you cut that?
The same.
Same?
Yeah.
Use scissors or what?
Yeah. I use scissors.
You do?
Like tailor's scissors.
So do people all have their own ways of doing stuff where you work?
I am the only seamstress where I work, but
Oh,
I
you
have
are?
worked with other people. Yeah, some people will use like a rotary cutter, but I just rather use scissors.
Yeah.
So
You're used to it.
yeah, and you're more precise, and you'd be more precise, I think, because those things, if you roll that and something slips, yeah. So
Right on. So that's what you do now. You worked on shoes. Is there anything else weird that you've worked on or sewn?
I've sewn a lot of things, and I'm trying to think.
Is there anything really weird? Like a thong or...
No one's asked me to fix their underwear either.
You said earlier you did sew underwear though, right?
I did, but we were but we were making it. We weren't doing.
You weren't working on
I've never done alterations on underwear, so.
So if I gave you my banana hammock and said, "Hey, do you mind?
As long as it was washed.
You mind tailoring this to me?"
Well, that would be kind of sad if you needed it tailored. I'm just saying.
That's true. Don't judge people though. Don't judge. Maybe I'm getting it tailored like for an extension. Like some
Well, add a piece, you mean?
like a fat guy getting his suit, opened up a know, up. Maybe it's the same thing.
Well, surely you would have bought a bigger one, because that's not really going to change.
Maybe
is it?
no. Maybe I was in like the youth section on accident.
I'm sure if you kept your receipt, you could exchange it.
That's true, but I'm trying to get you to say, yeah, I'd work on it. And I don't think you would.
No, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to work on, is there, really?
Have you ever sewn a new thong then?
I haven't. In those days, you wore granny knickers, so they were...
Granny knickers?
Yeah.
What's a granny knicker?
You didn't have little scanty panties in those days, They were up to your waist, so there was a lot to work on. No, I've never worked on a...
On the little thin guys.
No.
Yeah.
No, that was... No one's asked me to make any, so...
Well, it's a thought. Don't know till you ask.
It's true. If you really do need something like that fixed...
I might want a pair of granny knickers now.
I tell you what, they're comfortable. They're great in the winter.
They pull up to like your belly button area?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like just under.
For men too?
If you want, I'm sure.
I'm not asking about if I want. I'm asking, is it normal?
No, not for men, I don't think.
Okay.
But you do see the older guys that do seem to have a waist up there, so they make pants like that, so why not underwear?
Yeah, but older guys don't give a shit what they look like.
You don't know that.
Every man hits a stage in his life where he's like, okay, that's it. Like the classic dad look.
Yeah, but, they still look debonair sometimes. Some of them still want the chicks. You never know.
I don't know if granny knickers are going to do that, though. That's the problem.
No. No, they probably want someone with
a banana hammock, right?
Oh, dear.
I'm going to make another drink. You need one? Or are you good for now?
I have a little bit of ice, if you don't mind.
A little bit of ice?
Oh.
Sorry, I stuck my hand in there.
That's fine.
I just washed it, though, under the table here.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Yeah.
God, I love your guys' terminology. Do you ever hear an American talk and you're like, I love the way they talk? Because I feel like we get all giddy when we hear somebody from the UK.
No, not really.
No? We're just boring. It's like, yeah, pour another drink.
No, not really. But I can't really do an American accent for all the years I've been here.
Give me your best American accent.
Hi, honey. look mighty good today.
You look mighty good today.
I only can do a southern accent. It's
It
ridiculous.
sounds exactly like what I thought it would. Somebody from the UK trying to talk American. Can you say, how about another drink?
Say it again.
How about another drink?
How about another drink? I don't know why. I could do lots of English accents. I could do a good Scottish accent. I just can't.
I could talk Scottish,
Scottish.
right? Scottish.
No, that's not right, son. That's
That's
not very Scottish at all.
Well, Shrek was Scottish, right?
Shrek.
Stay out of my swamp. That wasn't very good.
No, it wasn't very good.
I'm gonna stop for that.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at that.
No, I don't think you'd pass for it.
You don't?
Nah.
You don't think I'd blend in if I went over there?
What is Scottish?
If I tried talking like you do?
They put you on the special bus, I think. He's special. He
Yeah.
thinks he's talking.
Well, people say the same thing about me in America.
Yeah.
So I'd be extra special over there.
It'd just be the Yank trying to talk like he's Scottish.
Have you ever had any embarrassing moments on the job?
The most embarrassed I've ever been, I had an airman come to my door saying that he had to have his blues done for the morning. He said he'd just run to clothing sales. Is there any way I could do it for him? So I said, yeah, come in. Tries the uniform on. I walk in to measure it. And I said to him, they give you the wrong jacket. You've got a woman's jacket. He goes, I am a woman.
What?
It was a girl. And she looked like
No.
a little fresh-faced airman with short, cropped hair. I almost,
No way.
yeah, I was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, oh, it's fine. I get it all the time. Yeah. And
You
so,
got a woman's jacket.
yeah. And she's like, I am a woman. I was like, oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah. So that's not a good feeling after that, right?
I didn't know where to put my face.
Yeah.
Tell me, oh, you got the wrong uniform to give you a woman's. But anyway, she come back and then
That's pretty embarrassing, but I mean,
she was fine.
yeah.
But I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
So,
So did she have like the buzz cut and everything?
oh, buzz cut. Just looked like a really young airman. I mean, nice looking,
Right.
not feminine in any way. I mean, just, young.
Well, at least she wasn't offended by it.
She
you
wasn't.
know?
But she goes, I get that all the time.
Yeah. I mean, if she has a buzz cut and stuff like that, it's probably typical.
Yeah, but for me, it was embarrassing.
At least she didn't freak out on you.
No.
And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that was probably the most embarrassing.
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing one.
Yeah, because I'm in my house. I can't. There's nowhere to run.
All right.
So I said to Scott, she just looked like a guy. And so anyway, I'd gone out and she'd come and picked up the uniform. And I said, oh, did that girl? He said, no, it was some guy that picked it up. I said, no, that was a girl. He's like, oh.
Oh, so he didn't even know.
No, I mean, this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was a little different in the military.
It
so,
was, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was probably
That's funny.
my most embarrassing.
So, let's say somebody came up to you and wanted to get into your line of work. What would you recommend to them?
Well, I mean, throughout the years, the company that I work for, I've worked up there for 13, 14 years. And I have had my friend Emily. She loves sewing. She come and she helped me out. But she went to college, and so she became a designer. So she did that in her work, but she did more the design. And I think that's probably more the way to go.
That's the best way to go, you think?
Yeah, because
I was going to ask if there's any kind of schooling for it or anything. There's really not for...
not here. There is in places.
Yeah.
Obviously in New York, California, you can go to FTI and
Mhm.
you can go to there is design, but sewing and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So if somebody young was wanting to get into being a seamstress, you would maybe say get a design degree? Is that what it's called?
yeah, it's probably
Something in design?
yeah,
Yeah.
to go that route. I mean, if we were in a bigger place or they had more industrious stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably somewhere they would do internships and
Right.
stuff, but they don't do what I did. I mean, companies just wouldn't put that much into anybody anymore
Yeah.
than they would in those days. They wouldn't pay you for 3 months of pretty much sitting.
Pretty much learning how to do the job. Yeah.
You know, it's more on the job. You would.
So they're more looking for people now probably that are already qualified pretty much to do what they're asking to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's places that if you're good at sewing, I think you really have to start like your own business or go somewhere, like maybe an alterations place but there really isn't anything here except your local bridal or somewhere that's you need them.
So is there any specific place you would recommend somebody to go, like an alteration shop versus a factory, or maybe work on their own?
I would probably say if you want to learn, to go to an alterations place
and just get your foot in the door and start.
See if they need someone, even if you're just working.
Yeah.
You know.
Even if you're just working part-time maybe and just getting the gist of it.
Yeah, because you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot of
little tips and tricks.
Yeah, than you would. But I mean, today there's so much out there on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I use it. You know, if I have
after all these years, you're still using YouTube.
Well, if there's somebody wants something that's different out the realm. I mean, we get people that have got alcoves and they want drapery put up there. They don't want to put blinds up there, you know. So I look at what would look good to fill that space. And I mean. Yeah, you can learn anything. Seriously.
Yeah, true.
You know, so these days. But, you know, it's a dying art, which is sad.
Is it, though? Because...
Yeah, I think so.
Everybody... Like, when I was thinking about this podcast and coming on, I started thinking about, like, everything that we do involves some sort of, like... It's I don't know, is it called sewing? Like, what would you guys call it? Just sewing? Like the art form?
Well, construction, you know, it's constructing whatever you need.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, all around, like, we're all wearing clothes that have been sewn by somebody. There's fabric on this booth here that's been sewn. There's curtains in this room that you did for me, which I really appreciate.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's everywhere.
It is everywhere.
So how can it be dying, really? Is it getting automated?
Well, I think for personal, a lot of it is automated. Like when you go to a lot of factories and stuff. Not that I've worked in a factory for a very long time, but, you know, the machinery there is obviously digitized and computerized, which makes it easier. But there's still people that need alterations. It's not...
That'll always be around, too.
That'll always be around, you know.
So in that regard, a seamstress is always going to be important.
It is.
But, I mean, you know, have things been automated more over the years in terms of, like, mass production and working on... If we're pumping out a bunch of curtains this size or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think there's so much stuff from overseas because it's so much cheaper.
Yeah.
That, you know, not everything's made in America because people don't want to pay the costs.
Right.
You know,
for American workers to sit there and work on it. Yeah.
And so everything will go out and made in different countries where they get it for, you know, they get the labor very cheap. But, yeah, I mean, if you'd be amazed at how many people, like, if I go to get my hair done and they're talking, they say, what do you do, or my nails, or whatever. Oh, you're a seamstress. Oh, can I have your number? I mean... Because
they want you to work on their stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a good seamstress that they can, you know, if something happens last minute, right?
Yeah. So, but, I mean, obviously they're hard to find, or whoever they use they're not that happy with, and so... You know, and thank God they're a small business and you do have them. Your dry cleaner will help with some of that stuff. But, you know, and some people just don't want to pay. I mean, they want you to do something for them, but like, how much is that going to cost? And it's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
You know? But, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, you're going to charge me? Because, I'm spending my time on it for you. So.
Yeah. Or replace a zipper.
Right.
Well, you know, the zipper only cost me $2. Yeah, but I have to take it out and replace it. It's time.
Exactly.
You know?
Zippers is something I've never really thought about. A zipper you'll just replace? You can rip one off and replace a new one on there? Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
unless you buy Columbia coat, then they do it for free.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but like jeans, people, it's their favorite jeans, the zippers go, so they
Yeah.
want to replace them. But I mean, sometimes it's cheaper to go and buy a new pair.
That's
Sadly,
true. That's
it
true.
is.
Nowadays, at least, you know.
Yeah.
My dad, when he was a kid in the 70s, he broke his leg and he went to the hospital. And the nurse came up and, I mean, he broke it bad by his knee. The bone split and, it was
Ouch.
bowing out like this sideways. So they go to cut his jeans off. And my grandma goes, no. Those are brand new jeans. So she made the nurse cut it right along the seam on the side so she could re-sew it, you know.
Yeah.
But it really is kind of a dying art, because if you look back, like I know my mom and my grandma, my aunts, they can all pretty much sew pretty well, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
a lot of women or girls my age, it's not necessarily that common for them to know how to sew or even have a sewing machine.
No.
But like growing up, all of my friends' moms had sewing machines, you know.
We pretty much did, because you got the fabric at a reasonable price. But everything now, it's just a disposable world.
It is.
Anything breaks.
Let's get something
it's
new.
like,
Yep. Get a new one.
You know.
Get a new one.
Okay, so I spent $100 on that. Oh, okay, they're on sale.
Yeah.
You know, which is sad, and some people can't afford it.
Right.
But
well, when you see something that's brand new and it's all shredded up, like jeans that are all shredded with holes, does that just piss you off as a seamstress? You're like, no?
No, it makes me wonder how they don't unravel more. Yeah, because they kind of burn it. Yeah. No, not really. I mean, it's just.
Have you ever had to do anything like that in your line of work, where you had to make something look old and rip it up?
Yeah.
Not like
really.
that.
No.
Not like
I mean,
putting big holes in
we had someone that did some reenactment stuff, and he wanted stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know.
But not just for fashion.
But
like
no, not for
somebody that just wants their jeans holy.
No. Normally they want them patched. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's for. I did have when I worked at base, we had a guy who'd come in. He was a military guy. He was a regular customer. And he come in and asked, he had some old pants that he just wore in the garden, but all the bottom were, chopped up. So he's like, could you just put some new fabric in there and just hem it up so I don't have all the holes? And I was like, yeah, okay. So I was making my daughter a dress, and it was pink gingham.
Yeah.
And I fixed these pants, but then I pinned the pink gingham on the bottom. When he come to pick them up, he's like, I said, yeah. I said, you said any fabric would do. And he was like, okay.
Oh.
I said, oh, you don't like it? He goes, well, it's not what I was thinking.
I didn't.
But, they're only for the garden. Bless his heart. Trying not to be offensive.
That's a good one, though.
Oh, we did. I mean, I used to
You
do.
said any fabric. No, I didn't really mean any fabric.
But it was pinned. But I mean, I used to be naughty, because if it was people we knew or
You'd mess with
friends
them?
of Scott, yeah, like I would, like they'd bring their BDUs in, get all the stuff. I would close like their arms so they couldn't, or their the legs.
Yeah.
And they'd be trying to put them on. Well, I'd do it in
the
big
hell?
stitches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So you could just cut them off, but you would mess with them.
Yeah, they just need to just pull it, just put big. But anyway, they're like, what the hell did you do my uniform? I couldn't get my arms through it. But anyway.
That's funny. Yeah.
It's just part of the job. You have to kind of.
Gotta throw some humor in there sometimes, mess with some people.
Yeah. So.
Especially if you know you're not going to cause any harm to the.
No, the clothing was going to be fine. The BDUs. But anyway, yeah. So we would do silly things.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you have any last advice for anybody that wants to get into Seamstressism? I think I invented that word tonight.
You did. You invented it.
That's a pretty good word.
Well, some people are just so talented, and I think it's always good if you have kids to expose them to anything that could be. But I don't have any. I mean, our daughter, she wanted to learn how to sew, and so I told her to sew little lines, and then she was drawing faces so she could go around, and that was it. She's got no interest. So,
Really?
But I mean, it's like cooking, sewing.
If you
They
enjoy it,
like
just
it.
do it and get better at
Yeah,
it. Perfect your
yeah,
craft.
yeah. If they're interested, I mean, you can still buy decent fabric. You can buy scraps of fabric.
Mm-hmm.
Get them cheap and just let them experiment if it's something for them. Some of the best designers have started out that way.
Yep.
Just chopping stuff up and making it into something else, and nothing wrong with it. So
Do you have a certain sewing machine you want to shout out that's the best, or are
I
they
love Juki.
Juki?
Yeah, yeah. So
Shout out Juki.
yeah, I mean, it's not very American, but I personally like it. So
Alrighty. Well,
okay. Oh God.
if you have any last words, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
Thanks for sewing my curtains for me here in the studio.
More than welcome.
They work really well. And
Good.
it was good. I'm
It was
enjoying the
good.
brandy.
Okay.
Thanks for
I'm
showing me
glad.
this drink. And
See, we've exposed you to something different.
you have. And I'm enjoying it. So
That's
cheers,
good.
Ellen. Thank you for
Okay.
coming on.
Thank you.
Young Jamie's got something before we get too far off here.
What do you got?
I wanted to wait for the end so you could edit out if you didn't want it. From going, and you can ask the question too again.
We'll just ask it.
Coming from the UK to America, how bad was the change from the metric system to inches? I heard you refer to inches a bunch and yards.
Changing from the metric system
So,
to.
was it completely different over there?
It was all inches.
Oh,
There was no. We didn't introduce the metric system till after I left. I don't know. Can't remember what year, but when I lived there, everything was gallons, inches, feet.
So that's where we got it from.
We got it from you.
Oh, the
I don't know.